Welcome, guys, again to the space in between. So great to have you with us. This is our second official episode, and we're thankful that you joined us. This is just a space for us to be able to connect with you and share some things that are on our hearts.
Today we are asking the question, can anything good come out of COVID-19?
Well, the answer to that question, I'm sure, varies a lot, depending on what stage of this season you find yourself in, and maybe how the virus and its ripple effects have actually affected your personal life. But I think fortunately for us, I would say at this point, we can say yes, some good can come out of COVID-19. And this is not to say that this is because we've seen so much good already, but we still have hope, and our hope is still growing in this season. And so we truly believe that good can come out of this.
We've all faced the challenges. We've all felt the weight of COVID-19. And it has definitely been a big struggle for all of us in one way or another. And one of the areas that I can remember that we have really struggled during this period is in the area of parenting.
Yeah, this was a huge, when COVID hit, and it just kind of came all of a sudden, for us at least, it seemed like that. It was just like, fine, and then COVID and everything had changed, and one of the areas that really was affected was our parenting, just because of the simple fact of having our kids home 24/7, not going to school, and then trying to homeschool them and keep up. And neither of our kids are really great independent workers, so it was like hands-on. And we both we're working full-time, we're in ministry full-time, so trying to juggle all of that and also keep up with their emotions, because their whole world
has been turned upside down. I feel like they were even eating a little more because they didn't have much to do.
Our grocery bill.
Trying to keep them busy 24/7. It is real tough. Trying to encourage them and just tell them what's going on while you're trying to process yourself.
Exactly. I think that's part of the struggle, is like you're also trying to process all these changes that are coming and help your kids through it at the same time. And everyone processes differently. Their understanding of what's happening is different. So that was a real struggle, and it was truthfully very stressful.
And as we are trying to process, there was more information coming in from left, right, and center. From social media to mainstream media, coming from different countries, new information from each part of the world.
Yeah, and you're trying to reconcile all these bits of information that you're hearing from everywhere. We're here in Tanzania, we're hearing this information. Then over, in America, there's this information. Then in Canada, they're doing this. Then, WHO is saying this. Trying to keep it all together and figure out, okay, what do we actually need to do? That was confusing.
So, trying to see good out of this has to be really intentional, because in every direction you look, you see, changes, disruptions, cancellations.
Yeah, that was another very huge challenge for us as leaders, leading through a crisis and leading through a type of crisis that we have never faced before. Of course, this is unprecedented.
And
nobody has
no
faced
point of
it.
reference. You just,
you have nothing to kind of fall back on or look back on and say, oh, when we dealt with this in the past, we did A, B, C, D. You're just starting from scratch and trying to also bring people along with you, our team and our staff, trying to help them through the process and keep up with all the changes. That was truly challenging as leaders.
It was also very interesting because we found ourselves torn, because I think this pandemic divided us into two categories, especially on how we spend our time. We found that there were some people out of this pandemic, they were stuck at home and they had too much time in their hands.
Yeah, and for us, we were like, we don't know what that's like. The pandemic for us definitely put more on our plates, and we had less time and more to deal with. So then, you're hearing from people that are just bored at home with nothing to do, or lonely because they're alone and they're having to be isolated alone. And for us, we've got all our kids at home, we're stuck at home, and we're still trying to work and homeschool and all these extra things.
And yet there are people reminding you and saying, if you come out of this season without having learned something new, I'm saying, maybe if I come out of this season with my sanity, I think that's a whole success.
That's the goal. No learning a new language or a new skill. We're just going to remain, hopefully, sane. So, definitely trying to see the good. We don't want you to think like, oh, we're just telling you to be positive about COVID-19, like it's no problem. We completely understand and personally understand how stressful and challenging this season has been. We are right there with you. But I read a quote the other day and I shared it with Julius. And it made me really think about this space. And the quote is by Nancy Levin. I don't even know who that is, but I want to give credit. And it says, honor the space in between no longer and not yet. And I just thought that captured this season so well. I mean, no longer as in, there's so many things we're saying no longer to. Like, so many things that have changed. So many things that are not normal anymore, that we can't do, that have been postponed or canceled. And so we're saying, goodbye in essence to a lot of things. But we're still in this place where when we look ahead, it's like not yet. We don't know when we'll be able to do certain things. We're still kind of like waiting in this limbo. And so there's a lot of things we're saying not yet to. But the fact is that space in between is something that you can honor. Even if it's challenging, you can honor it. It's not a waste.
It is difficult to be in that space. But how you respond while in that space is really, really important. And I think that's what makes the difference. How you honor, how you wait makes a huge difference. All of us are in some kind of waiting. A scripture comes to mind when I think about this, and that is Psalms 33 verse 20, that says, we wait in hope for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. All of us are in waiting, but it's very easy to wait in despair. And I pray that somebody will be able to wait in hope, and I feel like we are trying to wait that way.
I think that's what's honestly been keeping us going, is holding on to that hope and being intentional about choosing hope, choosing joy, choosing to find the positive, even if it's small in this season. That's what's kind of kept us going, choosing, it's a choice. You have to be intentional.
I realize that hopelessness is most of the time, it's not a choice. I don't think most people choose to be like, oh, let me be hopeless. It just kicks in. But hope, you really have to take a step towards holding it. So it has
it's like
choice.
An action.
It has an action towards it.
Definitely. So, it's easy for us to say, oh, wait in hope, hold on to hope, and all these things. But practically, what do you think waiting in hope actually looks like? Or like from us, how did we wait, or how are we waiting in hope?
I think it's a mind shift. It's working, and it's an attitude change where you are becoming intentional. Where you are just choosing intentionally to seek to see the positivity or the positive part of whatever that is happening.
And even in all the challenges we shared with you guys, they were definitely struggles and they were challenges, but there were positives, positive moments in there. I think of even our kids, having them home, all the struggles we went through, but the positive being that they have bonded so much. They've had so much more time together that in any other normal set of circumstances, they would never get that much time together. So they've bonded in a way that would never happen before.
I've even seen that in our workplace because of trying to live together, trying to move towards this uncharted territory together, trying to find solutions together. It has increased our teamwork and even trust among our team.
Because we began facing it together. I think even our productivity, we said earlier, we were in this situation where it had added a lot onto our plates and our time was squeezed. But there's a way when your time is squeezed, it actually makes you more productive, or it can make you more productive. And I think we accomplished more.
Because I think when something like this happens, where you feel like life has been abruptly cut short, it really puts you in a place where you have to refocus.
So we know this season has been full of highs, lows, everything in between, and we know it's not over yet. But we are trying to honor this space in between, and to realize that this space is not a waste. It is useful. We are growing, we are learning, we are becoming better versions of ourselves, and we are finding hope even amidst this time of waiting. And I think that would just be our encouragement to you today, is not to, like, we acknowledge that it's challenging, we acknowledge the struggle, but we also acknowledge that there is good that can come out of this season if we're intentional about looking for it.
It's my hope that especially those of you who are watching that are going through some very difficult times, that as you come into terms with your situation that seems so dark and feeling like there's never going to be light at the end of the tunnel, that you'll find some way to find hope as you wait in this difficult time, to know that even this shall end.
Definitely. So we just want to thank you guys for letting us share our hearts a little bit, and we hope that you've been encouraged somehow, that you've been able to take a little piece of our personal experience, and that it's encouraged you and brightened your day somehow.